Is your ex still using your Netflix? That's what one woman found out after she downloaded Truebill, which finds and cancels subscriptions with just a tap. Truebill is the new app that helps you identify and stop paying for subscriptions you don't need, want, or simply forgot about. Because companies make subscriptions hard to cancel, Truebill makes it incredibly simple. Just link your accounts and Truebill will cancel your unwanted subscriptions in one tap. I love Truebill. Truebill has already saved me a couple $100, and I think you should use Truebill too. Don't fall for subscription scams. Start canceling today at Truebill.com/think. Go right now, Truebill.com/think. It could save you thousands a year. Truebill.com/think.
Living with irregular periods?
Do you have irregular periods and thought maybe something wasn't right? Understanding your hormonal health can be tricky. The Let's Get Checked mission is to make it easier. With an at-home PCOS test, you can measure key hormones that help control essential functions, including your menstrual cycle, ovulation, weight, and metabolism. Knowing your levels may help to explain symptoms like fertility issues. Thanks to our sponsor, Let's Get Checked, we got you guys covered. Let's Get Checked is an at-home testing company that makes it easy and confidential to check your hormone levels from the comfort of your home without the awkwardness or uneasiness of visiting a clinic.
I've been using Let's Get Checked, and I definitely like to know what's going on with my body. And with using Let's Get Checked, it's definitely helped me do that.
They keep your information and results confidential. And even better, our listeners will get 30% off their entire order with Loud. Just visit letsgetchecked.com and enter the code LOUD, that's LOUD, at checkout.
Hey, it's R from the Think Loud crew. Here's one of my favorite episodes. Let's talk about sex. Tune in next week for a brand new episode.
Welcome to the Think Loud Crew podcast. 3 moms getting real with parenthood, relationships, and the WTF moments of our daily lives. My name is R. Kyle Lynn.
I'm Cheyenne Floyd.
And I'm Shanan.
Today we are talking about... Dun, 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 dun.
Let's talk about
Sex, baby. Oh, today we're talking about sex. So, before we jump into this topic...
Damn, horny Shannon's horny, y'all. She just started jumping up. She got way too excited to talk about sex. Whoa.
And who wants to jump in first? I feel like, Shanan, you had something you wanted to share with us.
You guys. Shannon's way too hype. Anyways, I have a question for y'all. I got a text from a guy, and he told me he couldn't be with me. So I asked him why, and he said that he's still a thought. I said, oh, okay, that's cool. And then he went on and said, I need to be a hoe for at least 3 more months. What would y'all say to that? I told him, go ahead and do your whole shit. And I said, have a good night. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I love the honesty because guys are never honest about that kind of stuff. But then the next day, he was like, oh, I'm so sorry that I was venting to you like that. And I'm really not a hoe. But I'm like, when you're drunk, you say the things that are really on your mind. So you can't take that back. No, you can't.
Just be honest. You're a thought, a hoe, whatever you... Both he used both terms, so
I like the honesty. I'm all for the honesty, and I like that. At least he's telling you, like,
give me 3 months,
3 months, and then we can talk. But until then, I'm trying to put it wherever I can fit it. Yeah. So
as our basically mom says, he's trying to get it out of his system. He needs to get out of his system. But then I don't know. I don't know if I want to go back to
3 months later.
No. It'd be like, okay, now we're at this, it's 3 months later.
You ready?
We're there.
You ready for that relationship?
Right. I need you to go get checked out, and I need to see your, what's your status going back to
what there we go. That's when we talk about what's your status. I think we should rewind. Let's go back to pre-sex, pre-baby sex.
Yes.
How was sex before you guys had kids?
Baby. Let's do it. Kyle, how was sex before you had a kid? So growing up, I was really scared of sex. So I don't feel like I had a lot of sex when I was young. So like,
Why were you scared?
What's young?
Right.
Let's start. How old were you when you lost your virginity?
It was a week before my 17th birthday.
So you were 16.
I was 16. Yeah.
That's a good
age. It was my senior year. It was right before I started my senior year of high school. And basically my boyfriend was going away to college and it happened. And yeah.
How did you feel afterwards?
It was like a really nice experience.
Is this turning into a therapy session?
First
you
of all,
okay?
I lied to him and told him I wasn't a virgin because he one time gave me this whole speech about how he didn't want to have sex with a virgin.
Oh.
Yeah, and I was like,
wow.
Oh, well,
I'm not a virgin.
I'm not a virgin.
It's okay.
But yeah, that was like the first time we had sex. It was on the beach, and it was
Okay.
Ew.
No, but it was.
Did you get sand in areas?
Yeah,
No.
I don't like beach
Wait,
sex.
he dug like a crevice, and it was one of those moments where I was like, oh, this he's been taking girls down on the beach, like after like when I saw the whole process.
So he dug a hole for you guys to have sex in,
and he put a blanket down, and I was like, no sand. And it was like, it wasn't bad. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I didn't know what to.
Was it night?
Yeah, it was nighttime.
Okay.
Well, it wasn't during the day.
I'm like imagining kids building sandcastles.
Right. I'm like,
people playing in the water, and then you look over and there's Kyle in her hole losing her virginity. Got it. Okay.
No, it was a nice night. But previous to that, I was kind of scared of sex just because both of our parents have siblings who had like teen pregnancies, and I was like, I did not want that to. It scared me. It just scared me. I was like, sex sex makes babies. Like that's what it was. So yeah, that was when I first had sex. But then it wasn't like I was like, just throwing it back.
after that, you're like, oh.
I mean, you were throwing it back to him.
Yeah, but he was also out of state for college. So it wasn't
So
like
what happened after that? You left, and then you're like, okay.
No, like we still had sex. Like we had sex for years. But that was that. So it's like I didn't go to college, so I didn't have this like college explorative like hoe phase or going on. But I always had like a boyfriend. One of my boyfriends was not a sexual person, so it was like really weird where I'm like in my early 20s where like I wanted to have sex. Like I was like, I want to figure this out. Like I'm a woman, like I have needs, I have desires. So I didn't really get to explore there. So after that relationship, I was really on some like sex with intention where I was, I read like erotic stories or like watched erotic films. Like I've now come to discover like I'm a very kinky person. But I also learned those things through like exploring. So it's like I had sex with intention. So it wasn't like I've definitely had sex with different people, but it's like I would choose one person and just kind of be like,
explore with them.
Yeah. Like let's figure out the different layers of sex. Sex was also very mental for me. So it's like it's not just like a physical attraction. It's not just like let's just go have this quickie, like, oh, you're fine in the club, like, meet me outside type thing.
You've never met someone in the club and met them outside?
Yes, I did. Not, it wasn't outside the club.
I mean, you've never met somebody outside the club and had sex with them?
Oh, yeah, that's where I met my baby daddy.
I was about to say, I thought this was a podcast of honesty.
No, I definitely met my children's father outside a club, but we didn't have sex then. It was like a month later, and then I came home pregnant. But I
came home pregnant.
Okay, Kyle.
No, I'm just saying like sex has always been kind of different. I feel like my sexual journey everyone's sexual journey is different, but like mine, yeah, I would have like one person and it'd be like, here's we're gonna go through all of these
things that
we're
you
gonna
want to
try
explore.
all these different things, yeah. So I've definitely had a lot of experience, I feel.
All right, you're talking too much. Shannon.
No, I'm not ready to
How
talk
old
about
were you
my
when
sex
you
life.
lost your virginity? Kyle was about to keep going deep into her sex life.
Yeah, I could talk about all kind of stuff.
All right,
Yes,
girl.
she can. I really don't know when I lost my virginity.
What?
I don't know. I was young though. And I know it was in the car.
Okay, like young as in like 14.
I think I was
15.
maybe like, I don't know. How old would where would I be in 15? High school in
9th grade, 10th grade.
maybe I was in like 11th grade.
How do you not remember when you lost your virginity?
I don't. Maybe I come to terms that I kind of block out things that I don't want to remember.
Oh, was it not good? A good experience?
I don't think so. Because I feel like I've had a lot of different traumas. So I feel like I'm a master of like blocking things out of my life that are negative or hurtful. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I've learned that just by going to therapy. So I was thinking about on the way here, I was like, I block a lot of things out that are trauma risen. It wasn't like bad, like I was forced to have sex, but it was just, you know.
Do you remember who you lost your virginity to?
Yes, I do.
And was that a good or bad person?
A bad person.
So that's probably why you block it out.
Sorry. So I think I block things out. Like I was that private school girl that wanted all the bad boys.
That's still us.
I think so too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was a private school girl that wanted to date a boy from public school. No. And my dad just always looked at me like, girl, get your life because I put you in a good life. Anyways, I was always in a relationship. But sex before Parker, I've had a couple of different experiences. So like I said, I had sex. I remember this one time, this one guy was really just excited. He was like, oh yeah, oh. It was just too much. It was a lot. He was a musician, and I was like, boy, calm down.
He's like, I'm about to put it in. Yeah.
Yes, it was a lot. I was like, whoa.
That's the funny part. There's sometimes guys who are like, I'm a beast. Like, I'm going to really put it on you.
And then it just turns you off. Like
and you're like, I'm waiting.
No pencils inside me, please.
Oh my gosh.
Not a pencil. Oh, okay.
Oh, that's the other thing. There's so many different styles.
Wait, so what? How was sex after Parker?
Sex after?
I mean, before Parker.
Before Parker, I explored. I don't think I explored a lot, but when I was in college, I feel like I did. I was barely there for like a year, but I did explore. I feel like I was like exploring with like the basketball players. That's bad. That's really bad because I went to a Baptist school.
And you explored the team.
I explored 2 basketball players.
I like how they keep on using the word explored, y'all. We explored.
I think your mom put those.
Yeah. Basically, my mom told us don't come on here and say ho or ho phase, and now everybody's like, I experimented, I explored.
Yes.
Okay, you guys.
Great way to clean it up, ladies.
But I think my hoe phase was in college, which was bad because, like I said, I went to a Baptist school, so none of the other girls were over there.
They were exploring too.
Were they?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Some of the most religious people I know are the most undercover
hoes.
Explorers.
Now I'm going to use the word hoe.
No,
stop exploring.
Trust me, they were exploring too. Don't think. But you were the only one exploring.
I think my freshman year was my exploring stage.
Just freshman year.
Yeah, because then after when I got out of college, I met this guy. It was a really toxic relationship, but I was with him for a good amount of my 20s. So he was an interesting, exploring type of guy, but it wasn't healthy. So it was like a toxic type of situation. And then
you had Parker.
Then I had Parker. And I think, then I had Parker. Y'all.
I hate you guys.
Obviously,
today.
I didn't believe in condoms when I had Parker.
Clearly, the three of us all need to needed to work on that talk. Jeez.
I went to an all-girls school.
No, our parents talked to us about sex and using condoms and birth control. We just didn't listen.
I don't think we listened.
Yeah, I can't blame it on my environment at all.
No.
That was just
we were told.
We were all told.
We were all told. I think.
Yeah, do not try and blame it on you went to a private school. That has nothing to do with it. We were taught. We were taught up our asses because our parents both had siblings that had kids really young. So our parents talked to us about sex
until we were blue, and it's like even to this day we talk about sex. Like we have a household where we can openly talk about sex, and
I think that's healthy too.
Yeah, and growing up, I would really kind of feel like I shied away from it because I was like, this is weird. But then it was like, once I started talking, my mom would be like, okay, you know what? That's too much.
Kyle doesn't know like when to stop. Yeah. It's like, okay, we heard you the first time, and it's almost like she knows she's getting us to like starting to itch. And it's like, she's
Kyle
like, but let me tell you what I did next. But
Kyle is very.
Let me tell you what he did
She
next.
will tell you all the details. She was telling me the details when I picked her up earlier. I was like, oh, okay, girl.
We don't want to hear it all. Like, okay, great. Like, but I would say we are very open.
We are, yeah.
Yeah. I told my dad when I lost my virginity. He was the first person to know.
Yeah, tell us.
I love that.
It was very interesting.
How old were you?
It was the summer before college. So I was 17.
Why am I doing a thumbs up?
I don't know. I was 17. I was just about to turn 18. And I, for a very long time, thought that I was going to save myself for marriage. Yes. I was like, well, back in high school and like pre-high school, Kyle called me a Bible thumper. Yep. I went to a Christian school.
A Bible thumper.
I would literally carry my Bible around.
Cheyenne has so many personalized Bibles.
Yeah.
And like
I have so many Bibles that say my name on them. It's kind of ridiculous. Mini size, ones that fit in your purse, big ones. I was very, very into my faith, and to the point where like I just thought Kylan was like the biggest sinner.
I was going to hell, basically.
Going to hell. Like everything she did was like sinful to me. MySpace, oh my God, you're a sinner. Like everything was so bad. Her having tattoos, Jesus doesn't like you. No. Like your body is a temple and you ruined it.
Like, now what you have?
Oh no. It was so bad how I was so judgmental and so stuck on like the Bible says. So yeah, for a very long time.
Maranatha did that to you?
I think I was like that a little bit before.
Yeah. Okay, I was just wondering.
Yeah, Maranatha heightened it.
If anything, it was like a combination of her school heightened it and maybe me helping influence it, just because I was more free spirited.
She was like a rebel, and I was really, really reserved and really good. Like I followed the rules.
Yes,
but like beyond following the rules, whatever that is, that was
enforcing the rules.
Yeah. I was like, if somebody says like walk right here and walk straight, it's like I'm trying to find like the line on the floor to walk on. Like the rest of the floor has lava or something. So yeah, pre that time, I was really, really, really convicted that I was gonna save myself for marriage. But then my parents, who I had never seen fight or anything, got divorced like within seconds. In my head now, you know, there's a whole nother story to that, but from my perspective, they got divorced really, really quick, and I was introduced to my stepdad really, really quick, and it kind of made me like mad at God and like mad at my faith or my religion, because it's like, how could you do this, you know? And I took it out in really odd ways, and one of those ways was losing my virginity and coming home and telling my dad I had sex.
I love it.
And I really wanted him to be mad at me, because it was such like a good, like he was so proud of me for the fact that like I was saving myself for marriage. And I kind of like I lost my virginity and out of like spite from my parents, and I wanted them to be mad at me and wanted to almost get in trouble for it. But my dad turned around, and I can literally picture it at our old house when we were in the kitchen. He was heating something up in the microwave, and I told him, and the microwave like stops. He opens it. He's eating his food. He turns around. He goes, "Okay, kid." And I was like waiting for like the scolding or waiting for him to be like, "What? No," you know, like some movie scene. He's just eating. He goes, "Okay, you use condom?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I did. You know, this is my first time. I did everything the right way still, you know. I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "All right, let's go watch TV." And I was so frustrated and so mad. And I wanted to scream, like, "I had sex, did you hear me?" Like, I didn't, like, be mad at me almost or, like, scold me. And all he wanted to do was go and watch freaking TV on the couch. And that's kind of how that went down. Looking back, I wish I would have waited until, like, a time where I actually wanted to have sex as opposed to, like, a time to, like, get back at my parents who didn't care if I had it or not. Like, nobody gave me the reaction that I was looking for. So then I was like, well, fuck. Like, I should have just waited on this shit. It wasn't like it was good. Like, I feel like first time sex isn't, like, good. Like, it wasn't how I pictured in my head. Like, you know, I was going to have candles and there was going to be, like, flowers somewhere and it was going to be very, like, nice and sentimental.
Rose petals. Well, yeah, because you were like, saving yourself.
It was going to be such, like, this moment. And it turned into, like, this moment where I'm like, put it in. Like, come on. Get back at my dad. Like,
oh my God.
It turned into not a good like moment.
I just imagine you having sex and visualizing dad's reaction. Like, that sounds crazy.
That's a little I don't like that.
I'm just saying. So after that experience, I went to college and I told myself, like, okay, now that you did it, like, we're gonna keep doing this, but like on our terms. But I knew automatically me going to college, I went to Hampton and I was so nervous of like how people were gonna view me and stuff. And I knew I was coming from LA, going to Virginia. And I just knew automatically because of how things work, people were gonna automatically assume she's probably a hoe or this or that.
And people
or
talk,
stuck up, yeah.
It's a small environment, or you're stuck up, you're from LA, like there was just so much judgment. I was like, I'm not having sex with anybody my whole freshman year. I'm just not gonna do it. And that was my next, like, I'm convicted on this thing.
Yes.
And I didn't. And if you would have asked people, they would have listed people that I had sex with. And really? I'm like, yeah, there were so many rumors and stuff. And I'm
sometimes in high school.
I'm like, I never had sex with any of these people. So after freshman year, when they like everyone just I would be like, so who do I do it with? And they'd be like, and I'm like, no, but whatever. I was so frustrated.
Think what you want to think.
Yeah, like, you think what you want to think. So the next year after my sophomore year of college, I was like, it's time to explore. Like, they already think I'm exploring. I'm gonna explore now.
And that way you got to
you
got to allow people to like weed themselves. I
kind of filled out the environment.
Because people definitely come in.
Oh, so you had people you were coming for you, sir.
I did. I really did. I waited a whole year and I was trying to figure it out. So my exploring phase started sophomore year of college. And I explored.
She explored, ladies and gentlemen.
Experimented like my other two buddies right here. And yep, I did that for about sophomore, junior, senior. And then after college, I had a year before I started doing MTV stuff. I was still exploring.
So you didn't have a boyfriend?
I did.
Okay.
She said I did.
I did have one. I had a boyfriend in college. And I was exploring in college too. So, you know, it's crazy because when Zach and I got engaged and when we booked the wedding venue, my dad called me a few days before and he basically was like, kid, like, I'm all for this, this next phase of life and stuff, but I'm just gonna check. Have you explored enough? Like, have you gotten it out your system? Do you feel like you've lived enough to where, like, this is the next phase and you're gonna commit to this next phase, you know? And I really thought about it, and I'm like, yep.
Yeah.
I think I'm good. Like,
I think that's a good
I'm
question.
fine. Like,
No,
I don't feel like I'm missing
question.
anything. I don't feel like there's anything out there that I want or feel like I'm gonna not be able to have with getting married.
Because I feel like sex is something that you do have to almost indulge in a certain way, just so that you can learn, what do you like, what kind of person are you, like, that way you can communicate it with your mate, your spouse. And I'm not necessarily saying like go figure it out and then come to your mate. Like, there's some people who are very young and they come together young and they learn, discover together. But it's, for me, I didn't have that experience, so it was like, I'm gonna go figure this out. That way, when I do, like, part of me is ready to settle down or commit to someone because I know what I want. I know what I want
from your
exactly. And that's kind of how I feel. And I feel like when I was in college, I really remember another conversation with my dad. Me and Dad just have a lot of
I love that.
Open sex
one
talks,
thing about
apparently.
our dad is very open.
Yeah.
Like, you can literally talk to him about any subject,
and it's
any
not
topic.
weird. It doesn't come off like he's not biased. He's gonna talk to you like, all right, let's, like, it's normal.
Talk about it.
Right. So I remember there was one conversation I had with him, and I was dating someone at the time, and he was basically telling me, like, kid, you're young. Like, there's no reason you should be, like, in a committed relationship. This is your chance and your time right now to date around. And he's like, I'm not telling you to go and sleep with everybody or to sleep around, but I'm telling you to date. Like, you need to date so you can find out what you want and to be able to communicate later in life what you want. So I do feel like I did that. And now, as I'm getting ready to get married, I really feel like I'm able to commit fully, and I'm able to communicate. I like this. I don't like this. Can we try this?
Right. Yeah. Let's explore.
That's
Right.
important.
Let's explore each other.
Yes. It's like,
I got some things I want to do with you.
It's like, okay, you've explored, Zach have explored. Now y'all can, like, come together and say,
I like this. Buy this for me, and we can have fun.
Yeah. And Zach's definitely explored. So it's not. We had this conversation, plenty of times before saying, okay, this is going to be our next step. Because what I don't want to do is not have that conversation with him and then get married
and
then
be
he's
happy.
like, I want to go sleep with Sarah down the street because she does this and you're not doing that. Like,
nope, no sir.
Right.
But it's so true, because I've heard so many people get married and the sex life isn't good, and then they end up getting divorced because you're not pleasing the person enough.
Yep.
And sex is mental. Like, it's not all physical.
Yeah.
When I was pregnant, my doctor was talking to Zach and I, and she was saying, sex is basically 90% mental. And when I say that, I mean, it's like you have to make love to my mind before you can make love to my body. So, like, throughout the day, little things like small compliments or even a tap on the booty, like, like something where
love
it's like,
language.
yeah, like a love language, like where you see me all day and like
it's a build up.
It's like a build up. So by the time we're in bed, it's like, remember that tap on the booty you gave me this morning in the kitchen? Like, it's definitely a build up. I feel like that was something that our mom has taught us also, is that your mate should make love to your mind and not just your body. And now that I'm like an adult and getting married and have 2 kids, I'm like,
girl, you got 2 kids.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, oh, this is what she was talking about. Like, before when she would say it, I'm like, okay, like, I didn't really hear it as much. But now that I'm, Zach and I live together, we see each other every day. We got babies. Like, now I feel it more
gear
than
up
ever. Right.
Make it different.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, we're going to take a break.
Is your ex still using your Netflix? That's what one woman found out after she downloaded Truebill, which finds and cancels subscriptions with just a tap. Truebill is the new app that helps you identify and stop paying for subscriptions you don't need, want, or simply forgot about. On average, people save up to $720 a year with Truebill. Because companies make subscriptions hard to cancel, Truebill makes it incredibly simple. Just link your accounts and Truebill will cancel your unwanted subscriptions in one tap. And your Truebill concierge is there when you need them to cancel unwanted subscriptions so you don't have to. Truebill has over 2 million users and helps save them over $100 million. Can you believe that? I love Truebill. Truebill has already saved me a couple $100, and I think you should use Truebill too. Don't fall for subscription scams. Start canceling today at Truebill.com/think. Go right now, Truebill.com/think. It could save you thousands a year. Truebill.com/think.
Living with irregular periods?
Do you have irregular periods and thought maybe something wasn't right? Understanding your hormonal health can be tricky. The Let's Get Checked mission is to make it easier. Did you guys know as many as 5 million women in the US have PCOS and 50 to 75% are unsure that they have it? With an at-home PCOS test, you can measure key hormones that help control essential functions, including your menstrual cycle, ovulation, weight, and metabolism. Knowing your levels may help to explain symptoms like fertility issues. Thanks to our sponsor, Let's Get Checked, we got you guys covered. Let's Get Checked is an at-home testing company that makes it easy and confidential to check your hormone levels from the comfort of your home without the awkwardness or uneasiness of visiting a clinic. And here's how it works. You simply go to their website, order a test kit, and it arrives at your door in a small, discreet package. You do a small finger prick and send the sample back to their lab with a prepaid shipping label. In 2 to 5 days, you'll get your results, and the Let's Get Checked nurse will be available to discuss your results with you. Once your results are available, they'll be reviewed by a physician and released onto your online dashboard. If your results are outside the normal ranges, a member of Let's Get Checked nursing team will contact you to discuss your lab report.
I've been using Let's Get Checked, and I definitely like to know what's going on with my body. And with using Let's Get Checked, it's definitely helped me do that.
Let's Get Checked laboratories are CLIA approved, which are the highest ranking level of accreditation. The company has performed over 2 million at-home tests. They keep your information and results confidential. And even better, our listeners will get 30% off their entire order with LOUD. Just visit letsgetchecked.com and enter the code LOUD, that's LOUD, at checkout.
And we're back. Yeah, we are, but we gotta work on our commercial voices.
And
we're back.
And we're back.
Ooh.
Yes.
That was good, Shannon.
Did you like that?
I did.
even think about that.
So how does sex work now? I mean, like, now that you guys have kids, like, do you, well, do you have sex?
Do you have sex?
I mean, like, I'm currently not having sex, but previous to getting pregnant,
What about after
I
boss?
was obviously having sex.
Well, clearly.
Well, obviously, you had another baby.
And you clearly still don't know what a condom is.
No. But I...
Okay, you okay over there?
Right, are you thinking about your decisions? Like, what are you doing?
Yes, I'm thinking about my decisions. Using a condom is a very safe way and practical way to protect yourself. And when Cheyenne got this speech first and from our dad, but when I got pregnant and told my dad, he was like, you could have gotten AIDS.
Oh my God, yeah. I remember that speech.
It was like you had sex without protection.
That's very
it was like,
when you said I had this speech first, I'm like, what is she talking about? But now that
you want to give, because I feel like yours was more.
Oh, mine was
detailed.
so intense. When I
after you had
I told my dad I was pregnant with Ryder, his first reaction was, you could be dying of AIDS right now, basically.
Yes.
And thank
God it's a baby, but you could have had AIDS.
And I'm sitting there like, like, I'm waiting for like the reaction of like me being pregnant, not the reaction of like, do you have AIDS or not? And he kind of went back to like basically our whole, preteen, teen, young adult life. Mm-hmm. He's always talked to us about using protection. And how you're protecting yourself not only from getting pregnant, but from like STIs and STDs and AIDS. And I'm just like, oh my God, like how did we get all the way here to AIDS? Where like, in my head, I'm like, fuck.
Do I have AIDS? Like, I need to go get checked.
I need to go get checked. Like, that was... So then, I'm sitting there, and I'm pregnant, and everybody knows there was a lot of questions around my pregnancy, and now, in my head, I'm pregnant, and I got fucking AIDS because my dad told me, like...
My dad diagnosed me.
Basically. So, I'm just like, okay, God, what are we about to do? So, I made a doctor's appointment to go and get checked. I did not have AIDS. But my dad was really, really upset with me because I didn't use a condom, and not for getting pregnant necessarily, but because of putting myself in risk. Once we found out that I, in fact, didn't have any STIs or anything like that, then he gave me a whole nother talk about being pregnant, where he was still upset. So he was still really upset then. So, either way, I wasn't winning around that time. But it was a really, really intense talk.
Yeah.
I remember we were prepping for your baby shower, and your dad was like, tell her, Shannon. Tell her how it's hard. I was like, oh, whoa.
Yeah.
He was really intentional to me. He was like, tell her how hard it is to be a single mom. And I was like, oh, yeah. So,
yeah,
I'm still trying to get used to it.
Right.
About that.
Like, in all transparency, telling my dad when I was pregnant with Ryder was probably the hardest person to tell, just because my dad and I have a really close relationship. When my parents got divorced, I stayed with my dad. And it was just us. So the talks, we had a lot of talking, and telling him, I really felt like I was disappointing him. And especially with the situation, it wasn't like I didn't have like a good presentation, right. This is what happened. This is who my baby daddy is. This is what we're going to do. It was like, hey, Dad, I'm pregnant. Hey, don't know, like...
The Bible thumper.
Yeah, I got pregnant.
Got lost in her exploring phase.
I got lost.
And for me, I was looking at her and I was like... Ooh.
It was like a shock to everyone.
Yes,
because I've always done things the quote unquote right way, by the book. I went to high school. I got great grades. I went to college. I made dean's list all 4 years. Mm-hmm. I always listened to
graduated in 4 years.
Yeah, like I always did exactly what I was supposed to be doing. So then when I got pregnant, it was like, what? Yeah. Like everyone was just like, and then not only getting pregnant, but I got pregnant and I had 2 options of my child's father, and that was like the biggest Jerry Springer Maury show, segment of my life. And it was really hard. So my dad basically was like telling me, like how hard it would be to keep the baby. And he never told me to get an abortion, but he definitely hinted very highly at getting an abortion and how that would be the necessary, like, easier option out. And he was very harsh in his words, I would say. Really, really harsh. And it was really hard because I didn't believe in abortion and having one.
Which is very different because when Cheyenne told me she was pregnant, I was immediately like, okay, we're having a baby.
Yeah, that was her first reaction. She knew that I wasn't
going to get an abortion.
It didn't matter what the circumstances were.
Right.
It was happening.
It was happening.
It was happening.
I could have gotten pregnant by,
as my mom says, it could have been
the mailman.
And
I would have kept the baby. Like,
yes.
It's just who I am. So for my dad to be so harsh with the abortion topic, it really took a lot from me, like as a as a person. It was like more of like, I don't know. I just took it really, really personally. Well, it is personal.
Well, that's that's what your beliefs is. He's going back on them.
So he didn't make my pregnancy in the beginning easy. Not like it was his responsibility to do so, but he didn't. He made it hard.
It was already a tough situation, and it's like he didn't
help.
You need somebody. You need those positive.
Right. He made it tougher.
Yes.
Well, kid, it's a hard day today. It's always gonna be hard now. Like it was a lot. So fast forward, this was probably like Ryder had to be 2 when he apologized. Remember?
Oh yeah, he did apologize.
Yeah.
He was.
I love
she
that.
Was 2
Ryder was
because
2
it's when I got pregnant.
It's when Kyle found out she was pregnant, and Kyle was you know, kind of facing the same funk of like, shit, how am I about to tell dad? So I was with my dad. We were both with my dad, but we went outside my grandpa's house, and I was kind of like prepping my dad for like Kyle's news and like kind of filling out the waters. And we got on the subject of like pregnancy and sex and stuff. And he then again had told me how disappointed he was in the fact that I didn't use a condom because I could have gotten AIDS, not because of disappointed in me having Ryder.
Because he absolutely loves being a grandfather now.
But
he loves the kids.
He was still stuck on, you know, AIDS. But he did apologize for the way that he handled me being pregnant with Rye and how he regrets saying or suggesting to get an abortion because he's like, me being a grandpa is like the best thing that has ever happened. And I'm so in love with like the kids and the way that you parent and like you're an amazing mother. Like, and it was like if you know my dad, him apologizing doesn't come ever.
Ever.
Yeah. So I'm standing there and I'm like, oh my God, is this really happening? And he's
I'm
just like,
sitting there in shock too. And at that
because
moment,
she's pregnant.
At that moment, like, I was just like, well, since we're talking about it,
I'm apologizing.
I'm pregnant too. And his first reaction was, you know what, you could have gotten AIDS.
Yeah.
And then it was like, he embraced me and hugged me and was like, you know.
His reaction was definitely different.
I definitely got a different reaction than Cheyenne initially did. But yeah, I literally felt like that little kid who was scared of sex for a second, having to tell my dad, like, Daddy, I had sex and now I'm having a baby.
But it was, I mean, like, it means a lot that he acknowledged what he said and that he regrets saying it and that if he can go back, he would have changed his whole approach and stuff. And it's a lesson learned. I mean, this whole sex and having babies has been a lesson learning. Yeah, and you know, it is what it is.
It definitely, like, now that I'm pregnant again, I feel like I didn't learn my lesson the first time, but it's like sex is really important and I definitely hold it to a different degree. Like, when I was younger, it's like, oh, sex is, you know, it's fun. We're exploring. We're experimenting. We're figuring out who we are. Now that I'm in my 30s, I'm like, I don't want to be touched. Like, I really want... Is that
because you're pregnant, or do you mean just in general?
Like, you want sex with a different intention this time?
Yes. And it's like, I almost want to go back to, like, 25-year-old Kyle, who was, you know, exploring with intention. And it wasn't like... And I was exploring with one person at that time. And it was just like, let me just get deeper into this. Like, what does it mean to have not just a sexual relationship, but like to have like a sensual relationship? Like, where does that sensuality come from? And it really got me into like my just being a feminine being. Like, I wanted to be soft during sex. I wanted someone to actually make love to me. It wasn't just like this act. And
Shannon's face.
It's just it's different.
Shannon looked like.
And it's like figuring out like this whole female orgasm, and it's like, what does that mean? In your older age,
or at 25?
Or at 25.
I figured that out at 25.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, you're confusing me.
No, but it's like,
confused me just a little bit.
It's like me now. I'm like going back to that person who I feel like,
and you want that now.
Yeah, it's like.
So did you not have that getting pregnant?
No.
Okay.
And that's like, I'm like...
Okay, I'm trying to make the story come full circle.
Okay, yeah.
So you didn't have that.
I kind of got... I don't want to say the words like lazy or... It's almost like I got distracted from my core being. And it's...
So you needed somebody to spank your butt before you had sex this time.
Yeah.
Or like tell you, hey, girl, you look fine today. And then you get in bed like, hey.
It was a...
well, you're not having sex right now because you're pregnant and you're not with your child's father.
No.
Which is the same father as Boz.
Are you having sex?
So, the only reason I was smiling Kyle like that, because it's funny because I feel like now after Parker, after I've had a boyfriend and everything like that, I feel like now I'm finding a new, like, Shanan within sex. Like, recently somebody took me to the sex store, which I really never explored before.
They're fun.
And I got some outfits. I got some things.
I saw a picture.
We will dress up up over here.
Yes, and I think who inspired me the most to dress up was Kyle, because randomly, this girl will send me pictures of herself dressed up. I don't know. And I'm like, oh, cute, Kyle. Thanks for sharing.
Okay, one thing about me, when I don't have a boyfriend or a man, like, I love taking pictures. Like, I would send it to my mom and Cheyenne, and they'd be like...
Yes, we would.
They'd be like,
them.
we don't want to see this. So then I was like, okay, that's not cool. That's not appropriate. Let me send it to my friends now. So then I would, like...
So I
like,
get them,
hey,
you guys. I'd be like, oh, ooh.
So Shannon's
So I feel
embracing
like
a new Shannon.
I'm embracing, like, I've always like explored, but I feel like I'm exploring a different side of my sexuality, like not in that type of sense of like exploring. Yeah. But just like exploring myself and feeling sexy and feeling like.
How do you have sex with Parker around? I mean, you have Parker full time.
I have Parker full time. It's when, okay, so I discovered this. It was when I lived with my parents that I would be excited to leave the house to go see like my boyfriend or whatever. And that would be my time to like have sex and stuff. Sexy time. So that would be the only time, maybe like on the weekends, to have sex.
Or you really have to like plan sex.
You have to, as a single mom, you really have to plan it, because I can't just be like, oh, come over to my parents, because I lived with my parents until last year. So it was always me planning it.
Well, now that
I have my place, I still have to plan it. Drop off Parker. My mom is so, she was always like, Shannon, so who are you gonna see tonight? I'm not gonna go see nobody. Right. Like,
no one will tell you.
She's always so ready for me to go. Like when they're watching Parker or something, they're like, "Ooh, so." I'm like, "So what?" Like I'm.
They know
single.
you're about to go get some nookie.
But not at the moment. I'm not. So
I love it.
But I feel like right now, this moment of me being 31, I'm feeling really grown and sexy. I keep telling my mom, she was like, oh, what can I buy? I'm like, I'm feeling sexy. I don't want to wear none of these dresses that you're picking out for me. I want to be sexy, mom. But I for sure have explored like the cute little sex outfits.
So you have pictures sex when you don't have Parker?
Yes, I have sex when I don't have Parker. And I don't explore with toys. There you have it.
Okay, no one asked you have it.
But I mean, if you're asking only, when I don't have Parker, sometimes that's not for a long time.
Oh, you're saying you don't use a toy during that
off periods of not having sex. And I know a lot of.
Do you
women,
masturbate?
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't.
You don't need a toy to masturbate.
I'm like, is it something that
it's weird to me?
Do you not want to do it?
I don't want to do it. It's
Why?
weird.
Got it.
You don't like to touch yourself?
No.
I think, okay, so.
It's a weird thing to me. It's weird when a guy's
so have you ever had sex with a guy and he's like, touch it? And you say, no! No!
I don't want to touch
I'm like,
I mean,
I'm like, which hand?
Here we go.
This one or this one?
Matter of fact, want to see a trick? No, I used to be really hesitant about masturbation, and it was like, to me, it was just like, it was a weird thing to do.
You
like,
gotta know how your body ticks.
But yes, and then I discovered, like,
I'm gonna need you to go home and touch yourself tonight.
This lady,
I'm gonna text you and ask you how it went.
I had an older woman gave me like a sex talk, and she was like, basically, you need to learn how to discover yourself before someone else can discover you.
How can you explain it to somebody if you don't know where the button is?
I know where the button is.
I need you to touch the button.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. The way you looked at me.
Okay, because sometimes, like, and it's no disrespect to your partner or male, but like, there are times where they are just not going to get you to that point. And the thing is, with the female body, it takes like 20 minutes for us to even really
get that extra rubber
turned on.
Can really help the situation.
What waterworks?
I can't look at.
I'm just saying, it can help.
Real.
No, but that's real. So yeah, I mean.
And then the times where you have Parker, you know, you can still.
It's weird.
It's not like he's in the room with you. You do it in your bed.
bathtub.
Oh, when he's not there.
When he's not, no, I'm saying when you have Parker, you can masturbate.
Yeah.
He's not in the bed with you. He's in his room.
We share the same room.
Oh.
And he likes to sleep in the same bed as me.
Okay, you can't masturbate.
Right. We're not going in the bathroom.
In the bathroom.
While he's asleep?
Yes.
Bathtub time is
Guys
my
are making
time.
me feel real uncomfortable.
All right.
It's okay.
Just kidding.
We can go to the sex shop together.
We gonna get you a magic bullet. I like toys.
Obviously.
I didn't have my first toy till last year.
Boring.
Well, then there we go.
Yeah.
When
And
was your first toy?
It was like
college. Sophomore year.
Yeah, it was
When
it
you
was
were
new to
exploring.
me.
When I was exploring, I got introduced to the toy life.
Yeah.
Before I had Ace, I kind of same thing with Shannon. It was like Zach and I. Sorry, Zach, to put our business out there, but
What would y'all do?
we didn't have sex until the weekends because
Right. That's
even though
time.
Ryder had her own sleeping space, half the time she wakes up around 4 a.m. and comes and gets in our bed. It's not like we're having 4 a.m. sex. I mean, most of our sex happens before we go to sleep. But
I mean, you could have 4 a.m. sex.
right. So it's like I would never want a situation where Ryder's walking in and, we're doing the nasty. Or Ryder likes to sleep in the bed with us and it's not happening with her in the bed. So I noticed for a long time, I'm like, oh wow, we have weekend sex. And then when Ryder really started sleeping in her room, it kind of changed to like a little like,
little
like
quickie?
Hey,
come here.
she just went to sleep. It's our time, But it was like it's not like really good sex, like
like
because it's like I'm like constantly like checking to make sure I don't hear little feet or a door, open.
Or you get paranoid and you're like,
Right.
stop.
So
It's that,
the weekend
that side angle and
right.
you're like, here you go, and then you're like, oh wait, hold on.
Yeah. So on the weekend, that was like our time to shine, But now that we have Ace, I'm like, when do we do it? But to be transparent, I just got cleared yesterday from my doctor because it's like my past 6 weeks. So I came downstairs and Zach has been like really having a hard time with this whole not having sex thing. I feel like a lot of people ask, when did you stop having sex in your pregnancy? And I was scratching my head like, we didn't. We didn't stop. We did it all the way through. Some days were better than others. But we didn't ever stop. So this is the longest we've gone without having sex. And Zach is really struggling.
Do you guys do other things than not having sex? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just
But,
wondering.
it's not the
It's
same.
not the same.
I wishy. So, wishy.
Next time Zach gets on my nerve, I'm gonna be like, Zach, are you just mad because you haven't got any whooshy? He's gonna try to be like, what?
Literally. So yesterday when I came downstairs, he was waiting in the car for my appointment, and I came down. I said, and he looked at me. How was it? How'd it go? And I know he was just waiting for me to say like I got cleared for physical activity. I know he was waiting for that. So I said, man. She checked and she said like one of the stitches didn't heal right. I gotta wait another 4 weeks. Oh man, you done it. I was like, I couldn't even like hold it in for that long. And then I told him I was just kidding and that I'm cleared.
I wish he would have recorded that moment. That would have been funny.
Y'all, last night we got Ryder in the bed at 8 o'clock, right?
And she's tired. The kids are in camp
She's
right now.
knocked out. Kids are in camp. There's no little footsteps coming our way. He's sitting there.
And Ace is in the snoot.
Ace is in the snoot doing his little thing. Zach looks at me, he goes, I'm about to shower. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, he's going to want to have sex. But I'm so scared right now to have sex. So I said, okay, can you give me some wine? I'm trying to
loosen up?
Yeah.
To get you right.
Let me get a little
You
buzz
needed a shot of tequila.
But I'm not drinking because of the Ace, because I'm nursing. So, I'm like, let me just get a little sip in, and then maybe, it will calm the nerves for, like, first time having sex after you have a baby, guys. Is almost, like, just as scary as the first shit that you have to take after you have a baby.
That's really scary. I feel like everything's going to fall out of you.
It's just a scary time. So he gave me some wine, but when I tell you it was a jug, he was literally, I know he was like, I'm about to get this girl drunk and get me some. Y'all, by the time he took the shower, came and got in the bed and was sitting there, I was asleep.
Poor man.
I was knocked out. I don't know if I was genuinely really tired or if it was the wine, or if I was so scared. I scared my ass to sleep.
She was like, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep.
You won't touch me.
This morning when I woke up, he said, I should have never got you that wine. And I'm sitting there like,
oh my God.
Close one.
It's the woo.
I'm scared.
That is scary.
Yeah.
Do you remember your first time having sex after you had a baby?
Yes. I remember, Parker's dad was really excited too. But I had a C-section, so I was really still in, like, my incisions, but everything was just weird.
So it wasn't like you were scared of your vagina.
I wasn't, no, but the crazy thing is that I was dilated 7 centimeters and I had a C-section. I just feel like everything was just like not
in
like
place.
I just remember it wasn't in place. I remember looking at my vagina sometimes. I was like, what is that?
Yeah.
Because it was like swollen and just everything was weird.
The crazy thing is, I feel like that right now. Like
it's not. You don't feel. I feel like after birth, you don't always feel the sexiest, and so you don't feel like you can give your man that like Kyle was that sexy time. Like you want to feel sensual and sexy and like touch me, babe. Like no, like you have milk squirting in their faces.
Oh my God, that's me right now. My hair is under this hat. I'm like, can we wait till Friday when I get my hair done? At least like, I can feel cute.
Let me feel. I remember the first time having sex and like he grabbed my boob and there was just milk all over it and he was like, yeah. And I was like, no. Why do you like?
I'm like, wait, hold on. Let me pump first.
Right. I don't know.
Things that need to happen.
And then the baby's there.
I feel like I embrace it. I'm like, you about to get this.
And see, I mean, I guess later
the first time after you had Boz, you were squirting milk on somebody. Like, right.
I don't remember the very first time I had sex after.
But it wasn't you. It was a long time.
Yeah,
I'm saying like
it was time.
It
time
wasn't.
It was time. Because I think after
it's not like somebody's knocking on your 6-week door, like
Cheyenne.
Yeah, I'm like
that's pressure. That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah,
to get back and to feel that.
Well, the other day I gave Cheyenne and Zach these little like sex note cards.
Yeah, bitch. All right. I'm sorry, but. Yeah,
but they have other.
They're on the fucking dresser, and he keeps looking and saying, "Are we gonna burn one?" I'm like,
no, because it's like been a conversation lately, and
what is the sex?
I know that sometimes it's like it's weird getting back. What
are the cards that you gave her?
There's different things that you could do sexually, and it's not all sex based. Some of it might just be like a sensual massage or like.
Massage that will turn into sex.
Pokey.
Cooking dinner naked or something, and it's
to turn into sex.
Yes, Kyle presented us this little box. It's
and there's
like
52 of them,
big, and it looks like a box that would hold matches.
Kyle's ready for them to have sex.
It's actually a really cute box.
It sounds cute,
and it's like you can burn the little things after you do it. So she presents them, and Zach is like, "Give me the box." So Zach got the box, and the box is like burning a hole in my eye. Every time I walk into our bedroom, I see this damn box, and I'm just like, "Oh, there it is."
The first thing that Zach pulled out of the box was an Eskimo BJ, and it's like
Eskimo BJ?
You give a blowjob with a cube of ice in your mouth. So it's like temperature play. And Zach was like, he was like, oh, this is cool. This is cool.
I'm sitting there like, thank you, Kyle. Appreciate that.
I don't know. Y'all, fiance.
I want to know from like you guys listening, help me out. How long did you wait to have sex after you had a baby?
I definitely feel like it's normal to be like hesitant,
standoffish,
and standoffish just because it's like our body has just gone through this crazy transformation. We don't know what's going on with our whole vagina. Like it's been stretched out, womped out, a whole person
stitched up.
Like,
right? How
it's
not
it's
just how that feels, but since I didn't get stitched up.
But still, I feel like dilated.
Yeah, you dilated.
I dilate. That's why I feel. That's why I think I was so swole. Like, yeah, just looking there was like...
It's a lot. And it is definitely a lot. But I would say the one good thing out of this, it's like it feels good to be wanted.
Yes.
If that makes sense. Like, there's
like,
nothing...
oh, you still find me beautiful and sexy. You still want me.
Yeah, and that's what he keeps on saying. He's like... I want that. Like, there is nothing wrong with you over there. Bring it this way. When I said to him about my hair, he's like, I'm not looking at your hair, girl. So,
like, right. I've seen it before.
We're not talking about your hair. So it feels good to want to be wanted and like to, I don't know, like
to touch
desired. Yeah, love you. To be desired and stuff, especially when you do feel so gross after you've had a baby. And you're right. It's like your body's out of whack. There's milk it's just not like your sexiest
There's
time.
fluids coming from all over the place.
Right. So it does feel good that he's still like, I want you. Yeah. So I'm not taking that for granted.
He still finds you sexy.
Yeah.
Yeah, girl.
But I'm still scared. I can't lie. I'm so
scary
scared.
Thing.
That's okay. I feel like that is totally acceptable. Like, I feel like after this pregnancy, I'll definitely kind of take some time off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just because, like, the next person that I open up to sexually, like, I really want them to...
Be the last.
Yes. Not only do I want them to be the last, but I want them to kind of understand what I've gone through the last few years so that it's like... To me now, it's like... It's almost like I took sex for granted. And now I have 2 children, and it's like, I'm not trying to just, I'm too old. I feel like I'm too old now just to have sex for sex. Like, I want it to really have meaning and be special. And like, I'm a sexual, sensual person.
Oh,
like,
we know.
I want it to be, too. Yeah, I want it to be valued. And it's like, I don't want it just to be like, oh, let's just have a quickie. But it's like, we're going to make it fun. It'll be a part of our relationship. Yeah.
So basically, Kyle's sex life is on pause. Shannon's sex life is getting interesting, and she's going to update us very soon on how masturbating goes. And I'm going to let you guys know
when it happens.
This has been a great talk, y'all.
Yes.
I can't wait to post this on our social media to see what people have to say about just when did they have sex? How long did they wait?
Yes, because y'all have been really on it with, can we talk about sex?
Yeah.
Can we talk about sex? So hopefully we answered some of the questions that you guys had about sex. If you guys have more questions about sex, we are really down to talk about it.
Open.
Yeah. I also think it'd be a really great idea if we brought in like a sex therapist or like someone
or maybe someone to show us some toys.
Yeah, I was gonna say like
I think that would be fun, like to show us single mamas or not even single moms, but
moms in relationships,
fun toys even to have with our partners, because some of those toys are not fun for the guys.
Okay. Shannon. All right. So if you guys can comment below or send us a DM and let us know if you have any suggestions for like companies or sex therapists or anything sex related, then please let us know. We're clearly very open and willing to talk about things. So yeah, let's keep the conversation going, and we will definitely update you in the near future of how
what's going on over here.
Our sex life is going. But thank you guys for listening.
Should we do our WTF or our advice of the week?
Yeah. I don't want to go first.
Okay, you go first.
Okay, so it's not really like a super hard WTF, but it's still a WTF. So Boz started camp for the first time ever in his life. It's the first time he's gone to a program. And I was really nervous that the first day dropping him off was going to be like, this dramatic tears and just situation. And it wasn't. it was actually really smooth. So the kids are at a language immersion program. And so when we got there, the lady was like, oh, bonjour, je m'appelle Gwendolyn. Like, you know, she was very nice. And she bent down to Boz's level. And Boz literally walked up to her and gave her a hug. She picked him up and they backed away slowly. And I was literally like, oh, that's it. Like, okay. And then like I hit the corner and I'm hormonal and pregnant right now. And I started to cry. Like, and so that was day number 1. Day number 2, though, we got there and all morning Boz was like, I'm going to camp. Like, I'm going to camp, guys. So we get there. And as soon as we get there, Boz looks inside the place and he said, I'm not going in there. And I said, what do you mean? This is camp. You wanted to come. You were excited. Like, we've had all these great talks. And then he was like, no, I want to go home with you. And then the next thing I know, he's like crying, like full-blown tears, snots coming out of his eyes. And I'm looking at the counselors, and they're like, just give us Boz, like, it'll be okay. And I'm like, you know, like, help. I'm texting my mom and Cheyenne. They're like, is everything okay?
Bro, I text her, leave that man there, drive off.
I was like, what do I do? And then
hurry, quick.
Yeah, I felt better because there was another little girl and her mom, and they were kind of having like the same kind of little struggle. But the lady physically had to peel Boz off of me. Like, he was like holding my neck for like dear life.
Aw, Boz.
And I was so thankful that I cut his nails that morning. No joke, because I would have legit had like a claw mark. Someone would have been like, who's abusing you? I would have been like, it's Boz. So yeah, that was my WTF moment. I cried the first day. He cried the second day. He is there today, and let's pray that it goes all well.
Someone else is dropping him off.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be different.
My mom and Dave are dropping him off today, so hopefully it'll be different. But yeah.
Cheyenne?
No.
Uh-oh.
The way you said it.
No. We're going in order. Your turn.
I guess my advice would be get uncomfortable with being comfortable. I think
get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Get comfortable with being, I said it different.
Which one?
Anyways, I want you guys to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Damn.
Because I feel like those moments in time, like when you really want to do something, you should just do it. Even though you might have those voices in your head telling you don't have that money to do what you want to do. You don't have, a babysitter or whatever the case may be. You don't have that. Get those little voices out of your head and just do it. Go for it. It'll happen. I really believe in faith, and I feel like God will put things in your life to make it happen. Just speaking from experience, last year, I really got super uncomfortable with just life. And in every step of the way, God made it so much easier and made things appear for me, opportunities appear up, just everything just came into place. God just kept giving me blessings. Even though I did not know what I was doing, but he just made it so that my path could be amazing. So even though if you feel super scared or I don't know what I'm doing right now,
just keep going. Because
the things that we manifest and that we want in life aren't just going to pop up and be like, hey, you got the job or you got this. Just keep pushing for those things. And even though if it makes you uncomfortable or if you've never done that before, God will make a way.
I like that.
I like that too, Shannon. Yeah. So that leads me to tonight. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable when you masturbate.
Yes, Cheyenne.
All right. I'm not letting this one go.
I know you're not going to let it go.
I need you to get very comfortable.
We're going to have to start, we already have, a group chat, but we're going to have to start, another group chat.
I hate you guys.
Just
I already know.
Checking in. Did you do it? Did you do it? No, okay.
It's okay, because I'm going to be like, was Zach happy tonight? Or
Bro, I'm running from Zach. I'm
girl.
scared.
Stop running.
And I know this weekend Ryder goes to her dad's on Friday.
Oh,
so it's
on and popping.
I'm gonna be like, hey, get in the bed with us.
She's gonna be like, hey, he's really fussy. I think he needs to sleep with us. He's gonna be in the snoot like this. Knocked out.
All right. I guess I'll do advice since we're talking about sex and talking about, our relationships and our bodies. My advice would be to, if you are an adult or a young adult, would be to explore safely.
With the condom.
Yes, definitely with the condom, because sex equals babies and STIs and STDs, and if you don't use a condom,
you'll get up with the baby.
Yeah. So I really want you guys to respect your bodies, to treat your body as the temple that it is, to practice safe sex, to explore your own bodies. I really do think you have to get comfortable with your body.
She looks at me, you guys.
Yeah, I did. In order to be able to translate to your partner or your mate what you really want. And I think that's sometimes that could be uncomfortable for someone to communicate sexually. But I'm just going to go back to what I've always heard of making love to your mind before they make love to your body. So women, I hope you hear that. And men also, if we have any male listeners, make sure you make love to your partner's mind and then their body. That's my tidbit for the day.
Woo-hoo.
Who wants to close us out?
Well, thank you all for joining us today and listening to the Think Loud Crew podcast. You can find us on your favorite podcast platform. We are on Apple, Spotify, and Google. You can also tune into our YouTube channel, and you can watch all our reactions, our funny faces, and our whooshy whooshy moments.
Whooshy whooshy.
We want to start using that whooshy whooshy. Again, my name is Arkylin, and you can find me on Instagram at Arkylin.
So and creative. I am Shanan Kablayan at Hair by Shanan C.
That was creative.
Thank you.
I'm Cheyenne at Shy Not Shy. Don't ask, I don't know.
And that was creative.
Thank you.
Yeah, whatever.
All right, y'all.
You can also find us at the Think Loud Crew on Instagram. Yes.
Yes, and please go follow us.
Like, comment, and subscribe, y'all. Make sure to tell your crew about our crew.
Go have some sex.
Masturbate.
Masturbate. What?